BrightLocker, a crowdfunding platform similar to Patreon and Kickstarter, is reportedly closing down after developers claimed they had not been paid money owed. Serban Cortez confirmed that the company is dissolving, but its community-building platform will apparently still continue operations under a holding company with which Cortez has no involvement, as reported by Gamasutra. Biz. ONEDAVELOPER said the holding company that bought the BrightLocker domain is BL Holdco 1 LLC, and that it would not be making any payments promised by the original company. There's also been some back and forth as to whether or not the developers have actually been paid, despite Cortez claiming that the company never refused to pay up. That's definitely not the case, said ONEDAVELOPER. There is a plethora of developers who are fairly unhappy in our Discord who have not been sent their payments. We should not have to chase them down like this. Another developer said it was a shame that the company was closing. It was a great idea for our platform. Many believed in them, but seems like they had startup troubles just from observing. But hope they do the honorable thing and pay the developers. There is always a right way and wrong way to go about things. BrightLocker was founded back in 2014 as a crowd publishing platform to create games from user-submitted ideas. The Gamasutra job board is the most diverse, active and established board of its kind for the video game industry. Here is just one of the many positions being advertised right now. Location is Finland. Remedy Entertainment, the creator of Quantum Break, Max Payne, Alan Wake, and Death Rally, and one of the leading independent game studios in the world, is looking for a technical producer for a key role working on Remedy's projects. While working as a technical producer, you will be managing the technical aspects of the project and will help maintain the master schedule. Daily activities include planning, managing, documenting and tracking project schedules and workflows, managing trade-offs and eliminating blockers, requirements and qualifications. The ideal candidate will also have what is in it for you. Interested? Apply now. Whether you are just starting out, looking for something new, or just seeing what's out there, the Gamasutra job board is the place where game developers move ahead in their careers. Gamasutra's job board is the most diverse, most active, and most established board of its kind in the video game industry, serving companies of all sizes, from indie to AAA. Looking for a new job? Get started here. Are you a recruiter looking for talent? Post jobs here. At its core, public relations is largely about creating consistency. Anyone who has been in a PR meeting has heard the word drumbeat more than once. Create a steady pulse of news to stay in front of your audience. Silence equals a slow, painful descent into anonymity. This is inconsistent with the world of gaming, which, far better or worse, has long development cycles, followed by extravagant launches than silent voids. If PR strives to be John Bonham, keeping time and the drums, gaming is Jimmy Page, wowing audiences with wild crescendos of shock and guitar solos. Connecting these two can be tricky. The newsworthiness lifespan of a game is debatable, but you should be able to keep your game in the discussion for at least a year by breaking it up into 3 phases: pre-launch, launch, and post-launch. For the sake of this article, I will be speaking to small to mid-sized developers, as the rules are different for established and public developers. Pre-launch. The pre-launch portion of your PR program should start about 3 months before launch. The main goal of this period is to build up buzz for your impending launch and, if possible, Let players know when the game will be available. You do not need to be making announcements or hire outside help for this whole period, but you should be thinking about which newsbeats you want to hit and when. In this phase, you will need to give people reasons why they cannot ignore your game. You should think of this like a missile. The payloads you want to deliver are details about the game, some slick screenshots, and hopefully a cool pre-launch trailer. The actual missile you will need to deliver these are news items. The news items here are usually launch dates, studio formations, key hires, and asset distribution. Announcing your game's launch date is an advantage point for press. But most people will not actually care about this unless your studio has a strong track record. You are working with a known IP, or there's some established talent behind your game. If you do not check those boxes, it's fun to leave a vague launch window and focus on other components in the pre-launch phase. If you do have those, you will want to announce the launch date in conjunction with the game trailer, some assets, and offer at least one spokesperson to share some details about the game. Outside of the launch date, there are other beats that fall into the pre-launch phase. If you are forming a new studio around the game launch, press might care about that. The studio announcement should have a distinct mission statement which clearly telegraphs your game. General statements like, making a relief on mobile games, will not turn any heads. The studio announcement works even better if you can announce that established talent will be joining the studio. If anybody on your team has worked on cool games before, ideally in a leadership role, you should be screaming that from the mountaintops. Partnership news also works in this phase. Let people know if you are partnering with another company to bring an IP, a known brand, to mobile launch. The game launch is the most important and simplest phase of your game's PR life cycle. Your goal here is to get a lot of people talking about and reviewing your game. Generally, this phase takes place a month ahead of launch and a few weeks after launch into concurrent cycles. News and reviews. The news portion of your game's launch entails letting people know that your game is live and giving your main pitch about why people should play it. This is where you roll out of all your best assets, a trailer with gameplay and cinematics, carefully crafted screen grabs that draw players in, and an intriguing press release that gives it everything they need to cover your game. This stories to cover the basics of your game and possibly include some editorial about his gameplay. However, the majority of your reviews will probably arrive after the game has launched. Game review embargoes are one of the most contentious aspects of games PR. They are usually reserved for big-name AAA games, and even then, they come with plenty of issues that we do not need to cover here. However, in conjunction with your launch materials, you should definitely offer press early review builds of your game, starting 2 to 3 weeks ahead of launch. For mobile games, it's more common for reviews to publish in the weeks and months following your launch. For reviews, it's your job to be totally available to reporters and quickly answer any questions and get them whatever they need to fully understand your game. Post-launch. At this point in your game's PR cycle, you have been chugging along with that drumbeat for a couple of months. Ideally, you have built some pre-buzz, had a successful launch, and your game is thriving in the app stores. At this point, the game enters my personal favorite phase, post-launch. Depending on your game's success, the post-launch phase can continue indefinitely, but for most games it will last 3 to 6 months. During the post-launch phase, the things you should be talking about are the game's success, how your players are interacting with the game, and lessons you learned creating the game. A product update may also be newsworthy. If it significantly impacts gameplay, momentum is a natural loss. Be it a successful game. The trick is figuring out what momentum you want to share and when. If you can share any large figures about downloads or revenue, those are typically the crown jewels worth covering. Beyond that, you could try talking about more granular stats like DAU, ARPDAU, and LTV.